We're live, and you are live. All right, shout out to, let me see who first in this morning. Shout out to Nans. Nans, thank you for being the first one in this morning. Pinals 123 is in the building next. Audrey Wright is right there as well. Audrey, big up yourself. Peter G is with us this morning. Let's Bond TV, big up yourself, bro. Thank you for being here. 5Field63 is in the building. Thank you for being here. Marilyn Grant, Simon G. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special big up shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. I have the utmost respect for you. Shout out to my entrepreneurs, my stay-at-home moms and pops, my retirees. Shout out to the drivers. Shout out to the Uber driver, Lyft driver, truck driver, taxi driver, food delivery drivers, round town and long distance truck drivers. Shout out to the crossing guards and the school teachers, law enforcement personnel, medical field personnel, military personnel. Shout out to the bus boys and the servers. Shout out to the barbers in barbershops and beauticians in beauty salons. Shout out to the nail techs. Shout out to AC techs. Shout out to whatever it is you do for a living. Shout out to you. Shout out to every single clean-hearted, good-hearted person who wants good for others as much as you want good for yourself. You're a good person if that is actually who you are. If you want good for others as much as you want good for yourself. Don't fake it. Just keep practicing until that actually becomes who you are. Trust me, you're sowing good seeds of karma, and they will come back to you. Just want good for others as much as you want good for yourself, and you'll start to see. I say that by experience, you know. Don't grudge nobody for what them have. Want good for everybody. Applaud when you see others winning. Don't sit over there in the corner and me I win. So, or worse, I hope him fail. I hope it pop down. You know, don't be that. Be the kind of person that applauds everybody else. See? Good vibrations bring good things to you. That's what I'm saying. Here we are, man, on this beautiful morning. Today is Tuesday. Today is the 14th of October, 2025. Feeling blessed and happy to be here. This is going to be a short one this morning. Jerome not there yet, but Jerome knows that anytime I say it's going to be a short one, it ends up being a long one this morning, because we just can't come off of this thing, and we have so much to talk about always with so little time to cover it. We're going to have one of these mornings this week where we go extended for like 4 or 5 hours straight, because, again, it's another short morning, so I'm not going to waste no time. I'm getting straight into the topics. I was at the gym this morning, though. Have to start you out with some conscious thought. I'm at the gym this morning, right? I work out and thing. I know my brethren, them I say, I know Jim and Kim and Ray. So I'm there at the workout place this morning. I'm working out, and humbling thought. I saw this old man. He always come in the gym, right? Really, really old. And first of all, I'm wondering what the hell is he doing up at 2 a.m. in the morning? Because at 2 o'clock, me wake up, left my yard. 2:15, I'm in the gym, right? He's there. The man walk in, him say hi to everybody that's in there. Him circle the gym, him say hi, and him go up on the treadmill and him start walk like this. I've been making fun of, not really fun of him, I shouldn't say, but my boys were laughing. I went there with my children a couple of times and saw him there. Like the exercise machine, him can't really do like a full so he's like this. He's got to be like in his 80s, 90s, but he might do something. He's still moving. I watched him this morning. For some reason, I'm the kind of person I walk in a room. If I don't know you, I don't speak to you. I feel energy, so I'm definitely not going to be like, hi, how you doing? Unless I'm trying to fake it and I'm in like a corporate area or, Medfield area or something like that. That's when you have to function as part of a team to get your paycheck, so you better play along. I know how to do that well, too. But gym, all them kind of place there, I'm not just walk in and hi, everybody. I walk in and get to my workout. And I thought to myself this morning, you walk in here all the time. You never say anything to anybody in here. You're young and you're strong. Yeah. What if by chance, God forbid, you go into like a cardiac arrest or a medical emergency situation? So you're going to need one of these people who you step past every morning. Probably sometimes I even look like I got a screw face on because it's early in the morning, but I try to get my workout in. Probably you're going to need one of these people to grab a defibrillator and come put it by your chest and, shock your ass back to life or something. I'm on the treadmill and I'm thinking, what if you fall out in here? them same people, and I'm looking around and I'm like, I step past all of them people every morning. Well, that's probably the reason why the old man says hi to everybody every morning. Because if he goes down in a medical crisis, everybody is gonna automatically be like, oh my God, he's so nice. That's the nice little old man that says hi to everybody every morning. Grab the defibrillator, guys, come help. Somebody call 911. You drop them over there and you don't talk to nobody in there, they probably won't even see you until it's too late. Oh my God, he's off the treadmill. How long has he been laying there? That time you're down there, suffer a stroke or something for your whole 15 minutes for them seal. Point of that is this. Like Granny said, be nice. She said be good, but she also used to say be nice. Because it don't cost you nothing to be nice. And I thought about that the whole morning this morning. I said, you know what? On my way out the gym, I spoke to somebody I'd never spoken to before. I was like, hi, how you doing? You know what I mean? Start talking to people now. You might want to think about that because you never know when you need others. In other words, then the true message is you're up, but you're not always going to be up. And I know you might have 50,000 backup plans telling yourself you're always going to be up, but life has a way where you're not always up. You're going to need somebody else along this journey. With that said, just want to put that out there, get it out of my head so I can get to the topics this morning. There's a spike in road deaths in Jamaica that I feel like I need to keep talking about. So we're going to get into that. This one named Jamaica, Slow Down. Then we're going to talk a bit about the Ruel Reid and Pinnock fraud case that's happening. Along that lines, we're also going to touch on the Integrity Commission's findings of our Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, with the $80 million that went to some female friend of his and her own company, and so on and so forth. And then we're going to talk about impact splatter or blood splatter in the Noel Maitland apartment, because the forensic specialists actually did another testimony update, and more information was given and said about what took place in that apartment. Justice for Donna Lee Donaldson is the name of that segment. All right. So that's how we're going to go. PG said Ben Spunani. PG that put on in the word 80 million, you know. 80 million. Hey, don't vex the lady because some people get it for free and don't even get a McDonald's. Some people don't even get a little KFC. Some people don't even get a hug and a kiss. Some people don't even get little affection back at it. She got $80 million. I saw Andre. Andre is so damn extra. Andre Stevens. I saw Andre going in. I couldn't even watch it, right? I see it, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I don't remember where I was. I was in public, so I had to turn it down really, really low. So I have the phone because I didn't have a headpiece. So I have the phone like this with at the volume at the lowest. I'll be here. They give it to Glamity. The Ben Spunani. I was like, oh God, we told them sitting. So I'm like, come here, look for see him actions, you know, because you know him extra. I look for see him actions. Plus, I try to hear what I say, but I can't watch it from here because the volume is too low. I can't see him move, but I can't hear it. So I have to do this. I was like, this dude is out of control. I don't know if y'all saw it. Andre Stevens went in. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that this morning as well. The Ben Spunani, the gimmicky glamity, the sticky. That boy went in. Yo, anyways, I saw Pum Pum expensive sometimes, but you know, since we're starting out there, let's get right into that one. I call this the Band of Thieves. Okay, the Band of Thieves. May I say, I chop them, you know? They are chopping and they're chopping serious in front of everybody too. And the funny thing is, this is Jamaica for you, man. Nothing is going to come out of this. Not that damn thing will come out of this. Fake jobs and bogus invoices. So the Crown outlines alleged $25 million corruption case against Ruel Reid, Pinnock, and Brown Lawrence. A domestic helper unknowingly employed by the Minister of Education is among the key allegations in this $25 million fraud case involving former Education Minister Ruel Reid and former Caribbean Maritime University, or CMU, President Professor Fritz Pinnock. The prosecution outlined in a case in Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday, describing a complex alleged conspiracy to siphon off public funds through fraudulent contracts, sham employment, and bogus invoices between 2016 and 2019. I don't know why this says 25 million, because the sum at hand is 50 million, but I don't know how the whole 50 play out. So we start out with 25 mil. Lead prosecutor Chantel Steele told the court that the helper that was hired to work in Ruel Reid's household, she had no idea she was on the minister's payroll. The prosecution alleges that Reid, his wife, Sharon, and their daughter, Sherelle, arranged for her to be paid through the ministry. The family reportedly helped her open a bank account, and they retained control of her ATM card to access her funds. What? Wait, I'm going to employ you, then I'm going to help you to open a bank account, and then I'm going to retain access of your ATM card so I can access the funds through your account. What you really are doing with my account? So Steele said that the Crown intends to present evidence that this was part of a broader scheme through which Ruel Reid, his family, and Pinnock, and the Jamaica Labour Party councillor Kim Brown Lawrence conspired with others to defraud the Ministry of Education and the CMU, the Maritime University. The Crown will seek to show how the accused, particularly Mr. Reid and Pinnock, used their roles as public servants to mastermind and effect the fraudulent activities for which they are before the courts for now. I went and looked up and saw that they fought this all the way to the Privy Council already. They appealed this all the way to Privy Council already, and the Privy Council denied them the bid to drop this case. So here they are back in Jamaica, and the case is now full blown, right? Yo, helper Richard, yes, Mervyn, the helper Rich, I don't know. By the way, for you people who like to play JLP versus PMP, this is one of the JLP chop-ins again, but I'm gonna give you 3 of them this morning in a short go. So the Crown will seek to lead the following, to include but not limited to the following: the position of all these persons and their roles involved, including being paid regularly by the CMU, which is the Maritime University, with these individuals not knowing that they were being paid by the CMU, invoices or vouchers of goods and services being rendered under circumstances where individuals being paid did not generate that type of income, and that they did not at any time provide these goods or services for real. Furthermore, no verification checks were carried out before these funds were disbursed. The prosecution plans to call 92 witnesses during this trial, which begins on listen. The prosecution plans to call 92 witnesses. This is one way of them that they're going to tie this up and nothing now going to really come out right here. 92 witnesses. By the time them reach witness number 40, me and you drop asleep because Rosalie, big back self over there do something else, and somebody over here doing something else, and something bad somewhere else is festive, and you're not paying attention to all this. They're going to sleep this out, bore you to death with 92 witnesses, and then call this me no know, but nothing happened, right? That's just my prediction now. So the prosecution plans to call 92 witnesses to this trial. The trial begins on Thursday. Today is Tuesday. Key evidence includes banking records, text messages, testimonies tracking the flow of funds into different accounts that are controlled by the accused, but these accounts are under other people's names. In one case, payments were made through the CMU to individuals who performed no work at all. Similarly, Pinnock, as CMU president, is accused of authorizing and facilitating the creation of fraudulent vouchers that enabled the unlawful transfer of funds. Brown Lawrence is accused of working with Reid and Pinnock to facilitate CMU payments, allegedly receiving monies that she knew or should have known was fraudulently obtained. The Crown also intends to argue that under the Proceeds of Crime Act, the accused not only received and transferred criminal property, but took deliberate steps to keep control of these funds, sometimes by channeling them through third parties or receiving cash directly so it could not be traced. All 5 of the accused face conspiracy to defraud charges. This is conspiracy to defraud the government, right? Right. Reid and Pinnock are also charged with acts of corruption. Reid, his wife, daughter, and Brown Lawrence are charged with acquiring and handling criminal property, or acquiring rather, and handling criminal property also. They are also accused of participating in arrangements to retain those assets. The allegations were presented after Senior Parish Judge Sanchia Burrell granted the indictment, rejecting objections from Pinnock's attorney, who is Hugh Wildman. Wildman argued, this is Pinnock's attorney, is arguing that statements used to support the case were unlawfully obtained and they should not form the basis for this indictment. The judge disregarded. The judge also denied a request from the defense for more time to review these documents despite complaints of late disclosure of voluminous materials. This has been going on since like 2019, right? One more time on the need. You already knew you were up on charges. You already fought this all the way to the Privy Council trying to get out of this. And the Privy Council, the same Privy Council that shut down Vybz Kartel's case and overturned the judgment quashed the verdict for Sean Stump and the others, and Kartel and Madsus, right? It's the same Privy Council that fairly looks at everything. By the way, I've seen Privy Council do stuff and came back and said, no, you can't get out of this. You have to face the music. It's time to dance, right? let me tell you something. Here's an article that said how he's been doing since these charges have been laid against him. Now, this is an article that is backdated, but I found it rather interesting, right? So the neighbors that live in Hellshire, St. Catherine, of Caribbean Maritime University President Professor Fritz Pinnock said that since these news broke of his connection to accusations of corruption involving the Ministry of Education and CMU, his whole behavior has changed drastically. He used to be the type of person to call to us on the road and just always exchange pleasantries, one neighbor said, and the personnel from the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency searched Pinnock's home. As they were searching his home, the news crew was on the scene, and they were, of course, you know, Jamaica State, you know, your neighbor them are going to start out to peep through the curtain and the blinds, and then next thing you know, they're walking down the street, come stand up right in front of your place and look to see what's going on, right? So the news crew started interviewing the neighbors, and the neighbors were like, boy, from this thing happening, you know, he used to say hi to us, but him stop say hi now. Another one says he used to be the type to call to us on the road and just always, exchange pleasantries. But since this happened, him don't talk anymore. Since everything came out, whenever he's leaving or coming in, him just hold him head straight and him just leave from his car to his house and vice versa. Pinnock is the former education minister. Pinnock, former education minister Ruel Reid, Reid's wife, Sharon, their daughter, Sherelle, and councillor for the Brownstown division in Northwest St. Anne, Kim Brown Lawrence, they are the ones who are all in it. Back then, they were arrested during a pre-dawn operation at their homes in St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and St. Anne that morning. Brown Lawrence Division is the constituency for which Reid had been the caretaker of and was hoping to represent for the Jamaica Labour Party. The Jamaica Labour Party at that time had confirmed that he had resigned from his caretaker post following this outbreak. Another of Pinnock's neighbors said that although the CMU president was never one to always be outside, he had been seen far more frequently in the community before. He used to be, around a little bit more. But since this scandal break, him will leave early in the morning and him come back some very late hours at night. And you will barely see anybody come out from over that house. But you can see that they are there. Your neighbor them in Jamaica or something else. Him leave early in the morning and come back some very late hours at night. How you know the man movements? And you can see somebody over there at the house, But, them are going like nobody is there. In the meantime, well, what they said that nobody barely come out of that house, but you can see that somebody is there. Him never water garden or nothing like that because he had a gardener. So it's not like you used to see him outside doing chores or anything. But more frequently than now, you would still see him outside. In the meantime, during the 4-hour search operation of Pinnock's home, investigators also searched a Suzuki Vitara, a Suzuki Jimny, a Honda Element, and a Mitsubishi Pajero at the property, and they confiscated several documents from inside of that property as well. A Honda Accord Sport was also parked on the property, but Pinnock's daughter said it was owned by someone else, and therefore she did not possess a key for the vehicle, so them couldn't move it, else they would have taken that as well. The Pajero is registered to the CMU. Wow. A police source on the scene disclosed to the news media that was there that the search went a little bit longer than normal operations because officers had to meticulously comb through each room of that house, as well as the documents that were found on the premises. And according to the source, another reason the operation took an extended time was because Pinnock's wife, an attorney at law herself, insisted on going through the search procedures with the investigators to make notes as they searched. Personnel, see, stuff like that won't fly in the United States of America. You can't come in and be like, oh, I'm an attorney and you have a warrant to search my house, but you can't do it unless I'm there for every room. They ransack your house. They'll basically say, stand over there or go outside if you want to, because they could hit your house whether you're there or not, right? Personnel from the MOCA and Financial Investigations Division were responsible for that operation. So somebody said, SouFlo, when we think about this, that is actually why I'm doing this one. Apparently, it's a big issue in Jamaica right now where a lot of people are talking about it. This is what I'm going to say. This is my prediction. Dr. Christopher Tufton, right? These are all JLP peoples in positions of power, PPPs, right? All JLP PPPs. I find this kind of take us back to the whole, JLP versus PMP. When I brought this up yesterday, somebody said to me, okay, so them are thief money, but why you not talk about what happened under PMP when PMP was in power years ago? Why should I talk about what's happened under PMP years ago when I'm bringing up, you ever been in an abusive relationship with somebody who holds no accountability? Like, they'll be going fine, everything is good, and as soon as you point out that something is wrong that you don't like, them find 10 things to tell you about what them not like neither. And you're like, but I thought we were good. You never complained about nothing before. But why is every time I complain about something that needs fixing, or bring to your attention, no, you have to complain about something too? That's kind of like the strategy I see being used, the tactic, which it doesn't get us anywhere, Hold on, caller. I'm going to answer. Live on the air with SouFLo. Good morning.
Good morning, SouFLo. Good morning, family.
Good morning, family. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. SouFLo, as you're on that topic, look at Market Me and Christopher Tufton.
Oh, I'm in it right now. I'm about to go there right now.
You're in the $80 million?
Yes, that's the next one. I'm going to wrap it all together.
Okay.
All right. She's like, look at that one. Yeah, I'm about to look at that one as well. So here goes Dr. Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health, Minister of Health, Health and Wellness. Right, that's his title. Remember, during the election period, I was like, it would make sense for Jamaica to have a Minister of Health and Wellness be somebody with medical qualification like Dr. does. And the reason why is I actually looked up what the job entails. The job doesn't entail business stuff, and the job entails a lot of medical stuff and medical knowledge. Well, Dr. Christopher Tufton has it. They won the election anyways, and he's back in his seat anyways. That blew over. So, as of mid-October 2025, the Integrity Commission has released its findings on a probe involving Jamaica's health minister. Apparently, this probe had been going on for a while. Dr. Christopher Tufton regarding, nobody said during the election that Dr. Christopher Tufton was under a probe by the Integrity Commission for corruption. But if they did, it probably wouldn't matter anyways, because Jamaican people already, them are going to stick to whatever side them stick to. That's what I've learned. So he was under a probe, and regarding these contracts that were awarded to a public relations firm that's called Market Me, that report did not focus on loans. Let's talk about this. So, the Integrity Commission concluded that, watch this enough, the Integrity Commission concluded that while Dr. Christopher Tufton was not directly involved in awarding these contracts, his actions, though, indirectly influence the ministry's decision to engage his friend's firm, Market Me. There was a conflict of interest here. The director of investigations determined that this is how they play in our face, right? Because how could Dr. Christopher Tufton, being the Minister of Health and Wellness, and yet these funds through contracts exchange from the ministry to that company, yet still he is not held accountable because he indirectly influenced. He's the head of it. That's his friend. So anything that went in this amount of money from that where he's the head of over to that company that's his friend's company, he's obviously a part of it. Well, them nice it up with some nice words and say the director of investigations determined that Christopher Tufton's Christopher Tufton's actions created at least a perceived, the IC included that while Dr. Christopher Tufton was not directly involved in awarding the contracts, his actions indirectly influenced the health ministry's decision to engage his friend's firm. Conflict of interest. The Director of Investigation determined that Tufton's actions created at least a perceived conflict of interest because he failed to declare his friendship. He failed to declare his friendship with Lindsay Donahue, a co-managing director of Market Me. The commission found this contravened principles of good governance. It's like the Integrity Commission has lost its integrity. I feel like the Integrity Commission got bullied and now they're scared. You know, ever since they found what they found with Andrew Holness and referred him to the FID, and Andrew Holness pulled the tricks that he pulled, which I'm going to show you how he did that. Ever since that, it's like the Integrity Commission is afraid of him and afraid of his counterparts too. So they start speaking in tongues now. Between 2016 and 2021, anybody out there is wondering what is this about? Between 2016 and 2021, Market Me, which a lot of people are saying is somebody that Christopher Tufton was having a sexual relationship with, extramarital affair with. This is his side woman. I don't know how true that is. Don't come sue me. Me just say that's what the narrative is. I'm not saying that's what it is because I have no proof that that's what it is. I'm saying that's what the talk is about. That's why I didn't hear Andrea talk about the sticky, the gimmity, glamity, the good glue in the hole and all this, right? Because that's the perceived, that allegedly. But them say even when they say allegedly, people can still sue you. So may I make it very clear that I am not saying that's what it is because I have no proof that that's what it is. I'm just saying that's what been said, you know? So from 2016 to 2021, Market Me, which is the company run by her, received nearly $80 million across 15 contracts, most of which were from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, from Dr. Christopher Tufton, Health and Wellness, for the Jamaica Moves physical fitness campaign. For $80 million for a physical fitness campaign? I swear, the comedy side of me, the funny side of me want to really go off script right now, you know, and do something, but I'm not going to do it. Not yet. We're going to revisit this because this is going to have an end some way. This is going to end in a court some way. See? Yo, 80 mil. Oh my gosh. For a physical fitness campaign called Jamaica Moves. I want y'all to go look up physical fitness campaign Jamaica Moves. I tell you what you find. I swap $80 million under that. The investigation found that several contracts were awarded irregularly, including some that exceeded the ministry's limits for direct contracting, and others that appeared to be splintered to avoid competitive betting. The man I'll go over, boy, when don't say, I can't say it. Okay, so I'm talking about something completely different here, right? When girl good, I guess when front good. You make you know them man that go into their bank accounts, and we see them all the time. Cause when Tracy left him want kill her and all these things, but Tracy never tell him to spend out the whole of him life savings. Him lead with him wallet, like from the first day meet her, you know, she's so good looking and pretty and thing. I forget some of that. So him lead with fine dining and wining and dining and dash out gifts and this and that and everything like that, and just kept it up along the way until the check-in done, the savings done, the life savings done, the investment then wash out, he's cashing out everything to pay for this piece of front, and then the piece of front decides say, I've had, you know, you set me up in a life, but good. Yeah, I can't, I really want to say some stuff, but I can't say it. But this is the The campaign alone killed me. Jamaica Moves physical fitness campaign, $80 million. And the investigation found that several contracts were awarded irregularly, including some that exceeded the ministry's limits for direct contracting and others that appeared to be splintered to avoid competitive bidding. No eligibility was found, so the Integrity Commission report they said that they did not find any illegalities on the part of Dr. Christopher Tufton because he influenced the relationship indirectly. He's the head of the ministry. So how is the ministry giving out $80 million worth of contract and he to his friend, but he influenced that indirectly. Therefore, we don't find any illegalities. However, the Integrity Commission recommended that the matter be referred to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Who is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, y'all? All right, then. So, Dr. Christopher Tufton, the health minister, released a statement saying that he welcomed these reports. It's a conclusion, and it clarifies facts, and he's found that they found no illegalities. Commentators and members of the opposition have criticized Dr. Christopher Tufton's interpretation of the findings, arguing that the lack of criminal charges does not exonerate him from the ethical and governance breaches that were identified. Some have called for further actions, which I'm willing to tell you right now that there will be no further actions. Let's go into the last one on that, and then we're going to talk about why I say there will be no further actions. Let me run this by you again, right? Our Prime Minister, the great Andrew Holness. We're going to say the great because the third term up and the man said fourth term loaded, and I believe them. There was a situation where the Integrity Commission was full of integrity, according to the Prime Minister, right? Because they were doing their job and he put them in place to do their jobs, and they were full of integrity, finding other people's flaws until they found his. And once they found his, this is why I told you all that our Prime Minister is a man that plays chess for sure, not checkers. He's a brilliant politician, whether you like him or not. I've always said this. He's a brilliant politician, and it probably makes him a good thief too. I don't know, but he is a brilliant politician. Watch that style in here. For those of you who don't know this, what he did was this. The Integrity Commission leading up to the election said, whoa, we got to clarify this $400 million that's sitting that we found after going through all your accounts and paperwork and stuff. There's about $400 and something million here that is not explained. You know, you have to declare your assets, like where you get this money from, just so they know that you are fit to lead and you're not involved in illicit enrichment. Like maybe the government of or the cartel could be paying you some money and say, as the Prime Minister, you know, let this couple tons of coke go through your customs and, you know, split a little thing on the end, right? They're trying to make sure none of our leaders are that involved in anything illicit enrichment. Where does money come from, though? Andrew Holness act like he did not hear when the Integrity Commission asked him where the money came from. According to the Integrity Commission, they contacted him multiple times through multiple different ways, and they were all ignored. So they want to know, before they can certify his assets, where is this money coming from? This is what he did. He took two bold steps. One, he said, "Me not talk to you, talk to my lawyer, because court me a carry go. Because I find that you digging into my stuff is malicious, man. And you're doing this with a malicious intent." I just said, you're doing this with a malicious intent. Yeah, it's like when you want me to lose the election or something. When I gang up on me, stuff, hey, talk to my lawyer. And then he started a court case which kind of froze everything long enough for the election to go through without this. Because, you know, when you file a court case, things don't just go to court right away, right? There's a process. Who's in line before you for them case of a call up first? That is why we have dates for a court date because it's a line of waiting. Right. And he filed that. Boom. That stopped everything right in its tracks. Run the election. On his way through the election, the campaigning and all that, the Integrity Commission said we're sending him to FID for further investigations. So FID are going to do a bigger, broader, deeper investigation now. Here goes a chess move again. The person who is in FID right now, for some reason, I think his contract is up. Let's go ahead and put he in the homie. So he reached for Chung and put Chung in there. You want to see the people them out the road? Chung should not be in there because Chung does not have the qualifications to be in there. Well, one of the qualifications said you needed to have certain years of law enforcement experience to be in that position, which Chung never did have. So all they did was they rewrote the law and fit Chung right in there. And about 2-3 days ago, I saw a headline out of Jamaica that says the FID wants to educate Jamaicans on fraud and how to recognize fraud and how to prevent fraudulent financial fraud and fraudulent activities. And who was on the front of it? Chung, like this. I said, yo, them bold and brave, they are bold and brave, narrated. They don't care. They don't care. So you refer him, IC Integrity Commission refers him, the Prime Minister, to FID. His homie is at FID. So anything that goes there concerning the Prime Minister, it dies right there. Who do you know that operates like that also? Mr. Man from over Yasso operate the same way. That's why I told y'all, remember when I said anything that Mr. Man want from Yasso, read between the lines and know who I talk about, right? He's going to get it because the people are already strategically put in place all the way up to the Supreme Court to give him exactly what he needs. It might take a little bit of time because some people are going to fight back against what it is he is requesting, but eventually it is going to be approved. That's why we've seen some crazy things approved so far in this great US of A, where we're like, how the hell what? The Supreme Court ruled in favor of what? How is this happening? Somebody went into presidency with multiple felonies. I believe it was 34. When I hear nothing about them yet. Y'all ever knew anybody who got charged with that amount of felonies and nothing happened after? They were not sentenced, not even community service, no nothing. Okay, well, it's the same thing that's going to happen in Jamaica with this $400 million and declaring his assets and getting cleared up and all these things. You won't hear a damn thing about it after this. So we can stop asking. As far as this case goes with Ruel Reid and Pinnock, and you won't hear a damn thing about this either. It's not going to go in your favor. None of these high-ranking politicians, people in positions of power, will be doing any prison time in Jamaica. I said this before. In a time gone by, when the day comes where we start seeing people like these actually get hit with prison time and they have to do the prison time in Jamaica, that's when you're going to start to see real change in Jamaica. Nobody in Jamaica who in a FIDEM position go to prison. And worse, they're a part of the ruling party, so they have the power to make sure that none of that happens. So that's my prediction, that nothing will come out of it. It's just a whole nother case of waste of taxpayers' money and waste of time going through this whole trial, because they already know what the damn outcome of this trial is going to be already anyways. Fight it, go all the way to Privy Council just to try to get it thrown out. The Privy says no, send it back to Jamaica. Now we're in court. People are like, this is like from 2019. How come we're in 2020? We're going in 2026 soon. This not settled yet? I know it just go court because that's what they do. And it's going to take another long while and then ain't nothing come out of it. The most that will happen is they'll probably get fined. And they'll have to pay a fine. And the fine where them are going to pay, them already chop off that the piece of money they put it down to pay the fine. I think white collar crime is the way to go, you know, in Jamaica. Not, I don't know about foreign, because in America, them sink you. I've seen people go to prison for many years for white collar crime here. But in Jamaica, I think that's the goal. Work your way into a position of power politically, align yourself with one of these parties, chop off some money, but chop off enough to put on the restitution piece of it. So when them catch you, just, you know, wake up in the morning, drink your Blue Mountain coffee and be brave. Go out there and face the media. You're not going to prison. You're just going to have to pay back some money. At worst. At worst. Anyway, moving right along, because we're pressed for time this morning. We're going to leave the Donna Lee Donaldson something for last. I want to implore, may I beg Jamaica. I'm telling y'all, man, when I'm in Jamaica and I'm driving, you know, I love driving in Jamaica because it's like a video game experience, straight up. Especially if you're driving like some of them country road there, the boom and the turn and the up and the down and the go. I feel like I'm in a video game and it's fun, and the skipping and the dollying and the pothole them, and you have to go up on the right and flash up on the left, and I feel that it's an adventurous thing. But the speeding and the killing of ourselves, though, Jamaica, there's an old saying, what they said, arrive alive. Yeah, there's nothing worth speeding for so much, and you have to get there quickly enough that you're going to lose your life on your way there. Because if you don't get there and you're dead, then you never got there. So you never accomplished what you were going for, arrive alive. It pains me to see that we actually lose so many people per year on the roads in Jamaica. Pains me. Now, with 312 fatalities recorded on Jamaica's roads up to Sunday gone, there are growing fears that traffic safety campaigns by the authorities are falling on deaf ears. Me could have told them that already. I already said that it wasn't going to work. You can't talk to Jamaicans and say, slow down. You need to stay on the right side of the road. Your side. You need to watch before you overtake. If somebody have to tell you that already and you're driving already, it's too late. You should have did learn that before you did even start drive, right? I don't know if y'all ever been in Jamaica driving and see some of the overtakings. I cringe, you know. Me and Shakira will be driving in the car sometimes, and both of us be sitting there. We've had videos where we came back and you can hear us in the video saying, yo, blood clean, what? Because the cars will come out and they start going down the way where cars are coming straight up ahead of them. You know, there's about to be a head-on collision, and there's no space for them to cut back in, and somehow they find a way. They find a way in what we call in the army a cunt's hair. They miss it by like zing, zing. I'm like, why are people driving like this? What's the purpose of driving like this, other than you trying to kill yourself? I was convinced at one point that some of the people are suicidal, especially when I'm in Westmoreland. I'm see how some of the youth them ride the young them, and I look when them passing. Some of them pass you so fast you can't even see them. You just see a blur of color, and I'm like, there's no protective gear whatsoever, and the bike a ball out like. The bike is balling out like it'll call you to your death. You know? It's scary watching them. In some ways, I'm not going to lie, I might be guilty for this, but in some ways, you might criticize me for this. I see it as freedom too. Because I'm like, damn, we really restricted in the United States because they free as hell in Jamaica. Look how they live. The man them now have no protective gear. The car driver them drive mad as hell sometime. You see them, you're afraid. You just have to hold your car and make them go on. You can't do all that up here. We're going to talk about solutions in a minute now. Let me run through the information first. See? So, the latest official figure from the police show road fatalities now at 5% above the 297 that were recorded over the corresponding period last year. In other words, By this time last year, we were at 297. This time now, this year, we are already at 312, right? And they fear that by the end of the year, we're going to hit over 400. There's a great alarm. And we've been talking about this for the past 2 months, that the trend is going upwards, and that is in the wrong direction, they said. He said that the current number of road deaths is 5% more than for the corresponding period of the previous year. This was, for this year, we have seen where we have gone from minus figures in January, February, March, April, and May to a 30% increase in June and 90% increase in July in road deaths. Do you know what happens then? It's June and July. It's midsummer and people are out and about. The weather is hot and people head hot. And me see, I'm noticing something in Jamaica that's a trend too. A man stop over here so him get a special. And I'm burn a big split for the special. He might not burn off the whole split and bruise it and put it behind him ears or him keep it in a mouth corner here so. That means a ganja in him brain all the time. If him ever feel like that high is going down, him light it and back up on a level again. Stop over there so get a special. That is, however the special may go, boom mixed with rum type of thing, and or Campari mixed with rum, mixed with boom, whatever the special is, and jump back into the car right away and drive gone again. There's nobody out there checking, spot checking to see who is high, who is drunk. A lot of that happens. So he argued that this is not a failure on the part of the NRSC or the organizations that is supposed to educate the masses in Jamaica about road safety. It's not a failure on their part why the numbers of road death is increasing. According to Jones, people have been speeding and have not been staying in their lanes, and lots of head-on collisions, which result in a high level of fatalities anyways, hence the reason so many of them are dying. And he charged that aspects of the Road Traffic Act are not being rolled out properly. The only way to stop this kind of behavior in short term is to roll out the new Road Traffic Act and apply the sanctions so that when people go on the road, and they know that if they break the law, that they are going to be caught and that they're going to be fined. And if they don't pay the fines, then they have to go to court. How about them go to prison or them go to jail? If they don't go to court, a warrant is then issued for their arrest, he said. That's under the new laws they're about to roll out. More warrants are being issued, more fines are being applied, and that is working somewhat. What is not working is the point system, whereby if you accumulate more than a certain demerit points, your license will be suspended and you can't drive. That is certainly not working. He said that it's not only the rising road deaths that the country should be worried about. We're talking about other pain and grief. We're talking about losing productive individuals between the ages of 20 and 50 who would be contributing significantly to the country and making us as a country grow. On the other hand, we are paying enormous costs for the care of those who are injured riding these bikes or driving a car because people are just not using their seatbelts and buckling up from the back. Pedestrians are not walking carefully also. I've seen quite a few videos out of Jamaica where the people them and shot it across the road and boom, dead or broke up. A whole lot of pedestrians and motorcyclists are dying. A whole lot of them are being injured because they're not wearing the proper clothing, because they are not driving, because they are driving increasingly under the influence of alcohol and ganja, and because they are speeding. This is what I've seen that with my own eyes. The increasing use of alcohol and ganja while operating a motor vehicle. I see people getting out the car with them Me, when time miss them, me try like back off and make them go on way ahead. And I hope nobody is coming in the opposite direction of me or come run up in the vehicle I'm driving. But people just, in Jamaica, it's like a not normal thing. You know? Man, I say, yo, full up the taxi, come, make we go. And people just jump in. You see the big spliff in him hand? You did see him over there so with the liquor special I drink before, and you still are going in the car with him. And then he takes off at lightning speed, and everybody just hold on for dear life. Oh, I'm going to get there quick, and they're good. The people have to play a part in looking at who is inebriated and saying, I'm not going in that car with you. If you're not sober, you can't run taxi out there, or I'm not going in the vehicle with you. These kind of things, right? And for your friends too. Well, he pointed out to a fluctuating trend in road deaths since he has noticed this since 2010. When we started in 1993, Jamaica was regularly experiencing more than 400 road deaths per year. This is 1993, you know. So when we think of Jamaica and we think of how many people have died from violence, gunshots, stab up, chop up, and we say, yo, some years we do 1,600, 1,500, 1,100, you know, them kind of numbers consistently. Well, apparently we've been doing consistently 400 plus per year for quite some time now too. He said when we started in 1993, Jamaica was regularly experiencing more than 400 deaths per year on a regular basis when the National Road Safety Council was started, and we lobbied for change in legislation, especially safety devices and also helmets that are used and driving under the influence of alcohol. The behavior of our people changed. In 2010, it fell to 260 from over 400. That is the lowest that we have ever had, 260 in 1 year. And that was back in 2010 though. Ever since then, it has been climbing again. And it has been shifting from one figure to another, but mostly climbing until about 2022, we went all the way up to over 500 in 1 year. Jones noted that motorcyclists have featured heavily in the increase in fatal crashes as well. And when the figures dropped to 260 in 2010, that year, about 40 of those were motorcyclists that died. In 2022, 2023, the figure went up to almost 150. That is 150 motorcyclists that died. 150 motorcyclists dead, 2022 to 2023. Back in the previous time, in 2010, it was 40 of them that died. The second issue is that between last year and this year, we had a 20% increase in what the police describe as the biggest reason for people dying on the roads: speeding and people driving recklessly, like they don't care. We have had a significant increase in people making bad choices, whether because of this lack of training and they don't know how to actually drive, or they just drive recklessly because they just want to drive recklessly. Among the most latest road fatalities was male, a driver whose identity has not been disclosed. He died in a crash along the Ocho Rios bypass near its junction with New Buckfield about 2:19 a.m. on Sunday. Police investigators have listed overtaking improperly, excessive speeding with no regard to the road conditions, and apparent error of judgment, negligence as the possible way that the crash, which involved a Mazda Atenza motor vehicle and a Toyota Voxy. The Mazda and the Toyota look like they married each other. If you see this picture, right, the vehicle, I don't even think they're making the vehicles anymore like how them used to make vehicle before. But I learned this here in the US. Head-on collisions, Jamaicans, if you know, listen, do everything in your power to avoid a head-on collision, right? In the Army, we do defensive driving as well. Do everything in your power to avoid a head-on collision. A head-on collision at low speed cause fatalities a lot. So you could imagine what happens at high speed is guaranteed fatality. That's force, centrifugal force. All right. So you want to avoid that at all costs. I mean, if you can't even turn the vehicle sideways, if you get licked on the side instead of, but once it's head on, somebody is going to die. I look at these vehicles. I don't know where they're getting the vehicles from, but it looks like every vehicle that gets in an accident in Jamaica just splinter to pieces. That's another thing that I think needs to be looked at. The vehicles that they're buying and where they're buying them from, mostly importing them into the country, because these vehicles fall apart easily. I mean, I'm looking at the van right now, the Voxy that got into this accident that killed this brother or killed, and there's nothing left of it. Nothing. One whole side I tear off. It literally looked like if you crunch up paper like this, foil paper like this. What happened to the vehicles that used to have a frame inside? Like vehicle made with steel frame inside. So even when you dent up the body, it's still like, you know, mash up the front and it never crushed the engine. These vehicles, the whole engine crushing, gone all the way up to the driver's seat crushing. One whole side of the vehicle tear off. I don't know. So these are some of the things that we're going to have to look at as well. Another thing that we have to look at that I think could help us in Jamaica is this. I went to Orlando sometime in December, January, right? I live outside of Orlando, Florida. I went into Orlando for some business that I don't even remember going. How I know I was there is because them send me a picture with my vehicle there. I mean, no, say me alone that drive the vehicle. I had a ticket. They mailed the ticket to my house. I don't check my mail just like I don't check my email regularly. I don't check my mail. Bad habit. I've started trying to check my email daily. But I don't check my mail. So when mail come to the house, I pile them up. And then one day, I sit down and I go through everything. I'm literally going through like 50, 60 pieces of mail, right? By the time the mail check out. Me find this one in there where the ticket came to my house and it said it had a deadline on it. You had a time to pay it before your driver's license will be suspended. And by the time I found that mail, my driver's license was already suspended for over a month. I was literally driving around here with a suspended driver's license for over a month. Didn't know it. So, of course, when I saw it, I was like, oh, shit. I'm driving on a suspended driver's license. So I called now and try to pay the ticket. And they were like, yeah, when you pay the ticket, though, you're going to have to go back through the DMV and get cleared and all this other stuff all over again. And I said, damn, all that because I didn't see the ticket. But the way how I got the ticket, according to the ticket, it says I ran through a red light. You know, like when you drive through and you say, oh, the light orange, we can make it through. And you go through, them claims say when I went through, the light turned red and it flashed me. And they sent me $169 ticket or something like that. Because by the time I end up done paying that, plus pay fees and whatever, it was more like $300. I think Jamaica could put some of these things in place as well. Because we don't have the manpower, enough police officers to be everywhere on the island, spot checking vehicles and out with speed guns and all that. And even the United States of America. You know, when you drive on the highways here, you don't know where the state troopers are at. They're everywhere. We're not privy like that in Jamaica. We don't have state troopers. Maybe we need to develop something like that where we have special units who, you know, jam off in a one little corner and watch and thing like that. Another thing I see them do in Jamaica is they will flash their lights when you're coming down the road. And then flash them lights to tell our next motorist that, all y'all know this, then flash them light for tell our next motorist, police up there, right? So whatever you're doing, stop doing it. Let me tell you something. I'm no criminal. So I'm not endorsing no criminal activity. May I drive already? I'm driving already in Jamaica. And me see certain things are going. And me see a man flash our next, like he's flashing all of us. But when you see two car turn off so and start go back like wheel round and start go back the next way, and the gunman them are somebody who didn't need to get catch that. How you know you ain't flashing some wanted murderer, some friggin' child rapist, and tell him say police up there so them have a spot check. I have a spot check. Turn around the car. The first time they did it, I was like, why did I flash like that? I wasn't driving, my cousin was. And I said, why did I flash everybody like that? And them say, car them a one with the police they up there so slow down or whatever. Right? So I said, why if like rapist or gunman or something, you know, some murderer wanted or something, them say, well, them not think about it, them just say them might do good by helping you to avoid police. A bunch of stuff that we got to change. But I think that's implementing a system, electronic system, where you can flash a car that's going fast and mail that ticket to that individual, address on record, and give it a certain amount of time. And if they don't show up, issue that arrest warrant, then that's a good start for us. Right? Right. Miss Ruby Pryor's protected, that is straight prison driving, suspended. Yeah, them said me run the red light, but I don't remember running a red light. But, you know, I had to pay the ticket. They already suspended my license. I couldn't even argue it because the license done suspended already. And y'all know, well, in Florida, they do it differently. So if you're driving on a suspended license, back in the day, it used to be they will allow you to drive off. This is way back in the day. Them not do it like that no more. I remember, I don't know if y'all remember the story me telling about the liquor youth who did I work 2 jobs. He's just trying to get ahead in life. And, you know, he got pulled over. His driver's license was suspended. They took him to the jail in Miami, downtown Miami. They took care of him at that notorious jail. And within 5 minutes of being in his cell, his jaw was broken. And he had to get his face wired. And they had him, them wrap up his face like tie cloth around it. And they had him on the elevator in the building going up to another floor. And that was all because his driver's license was suspended. You know, and he worked in 2 jobs. He was like, I worked 2 jobs. I didn't even know my license was suspended because his jaw was broke. You know, I didn't even know my license was suspended. They could have just given me a break, you know. I'm not a criminal, but that's how them do you here. So I could have gotten in trouble, but I didn't. We have 15 minutes left. Jumping right into the last topic of the morning. I told you all it was going to be short, and it is such. Impact splatter. Impact splatter at Maitland's apartment is the headline, says a forensic analysis. The last time we spoke of forensic analysis, a forensic expert spoke about the blood splatter in Noel Maitland's apartment, right? This is the Justice for Donna Lee Donaldson section. So everybody can know what's going on with the case and is he going to get off or are they actually going to find him guilty? Pretty intriguing case, especially the fact that he was a uniformed police officer up until the point of his arrest for this case. Audrey says, turn red 3 seconds before you go through. Me get one of them already. Me ask them if my head never go through the line before. You can't ask them nothing. Them never give me no chance. Anyway, a forensic analyst told a 7-member jury in the murder trial of Constable Noel Maitland in the Home Circuit Court downtown Kingston on Monday that she formed the opinion after her investigations that there was an impact splatter event inside the policeman's apartment based on the pattern of how the blood distribution on certain items looked. So an impact splatter would be and blood splatter, right? And blood splatter. The analyst had previously testified that samples were taken from curtains and cushions, cushion cover and shoes, and these were all tested and they test positive for blood. Maitland is on trial for murder and preventing the lawful burial of a corpse in relation to the July 12, 2022 disappearance of his 24-year-old social media influencer girlfriend, Donna Lee Donaldson. Say her name, don't forget her. I told y'all they're going to sweep this under the rug if you forget her. Donaldson was last seen alive at the Chelsea Manor apartment complex in St. Andrew where Noel Maitland lived, and she was reported missing on July 13th of 2022. Prosecutors are banking on circumstantial evidence to secure the conviction in this case. On Monday, Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Claudette Thompson, asked the forensic analyst to explain what she meant by impact splatter event. She said, "This means that they could have been created by something with blood touching the surface or something coming in contact with blood on the surface or the folds of the drapes rubbing on each other. The small clots could have been formed depending on how the portioning of the blood having clotting factors was allowed to dry on the surface." That no mean nothing to me. Me lost. That was quite too complicated. Anyway, on a rewind the part there and see if it makes sense to you. Noel Maitland was seen in the docks in the courtroom. He was listening intently and he was jotting stuff down on a piece of paper, it said. Thompson then asked the witness to explain what she knew about how human blood reacted to certain cleaning agents, bleach, soap and water, all these things. She said that when blood leaves the human body and it is exposed, its color gets darker with time. The process of degradation, the components of being broken down begins. When blood comes in contact with water, it would be diluted. Water would make it more degraded, especially if there is a lot of water, she said. She added that vinegar, which is a weak acid, could cause some degradation if it came in contact with blood, which consists of several proteins. Now, y'all remember from the car wash, what the car wash attendee said, how they were dousing, she said she started wash the something first, the couch first, and then after a while, a short while, about 2 minutes into washing it, Noel, the guy that came with Noel Maitland, took the thing from her and started washing the couch himself. And they went and bought vinegar and then vinegar down the couch and washed the couch. So that's why the prosecution is asking the analyst now, what about vinegar? If vinegar comes in contact with blood. She added that vinegar is a weak acid and it could cause some degradation if it came in contact with the blood, which consists of several proteins. She said too that if a degreaser, which they also said was being used, if a degreaser of a liquid form came in contact with blood, it would definitely dilute the blood. As for bleach, she said it also would enhance the breakdown of the blood and its components. You don't have to be no expert to know this, right? All of us out here knows this. But this is court and you have to be formal, I guess. So coming into contact with blood, bleach would impact it depending on the amount of bleach, she said. Depending on the amount of bleach. Soap, which is also a cleaning agent, would also affect the degradation depending on the type of soap and the quantity of the soap and the quality or the volume of blood that the soap is added to. Different soaps have different chemical makeups, she said. Attorney at law Chadwick Berry, who is one of 5 attorneys who are representing Noel Maitland, began his cross-examination of the forensic analyst on Monday, yesterday. He has 5 attorneys. 5 attorneys. He asked the witness if Noel Maitland's BMW motor vehicle had been swabbed and tested for blood. She confirmed that it was swabbed and it was tested, and she told the courts that no blood was detected throughout his BMW. Berry probed, again, asking to ascertain how many items inside of that apartment were actually swabbed and tested for blood. The witness said that more than 100 items inside of Noel Maitland's apartment were swabbed and tested for blood. Except for the drapes, the cushion cover, shoes, she said that the other items had tested negative for blood. So, although those other items had blood splatter on them, or what looked like blood splatter on them, when they tested them, they tested negative for blood. Y'all following where this is going? A lot of cleaning up, it looked like, happened, and the blood got degraded and diluted to the point where when it was tested, it didn't come up as blood. But some of the stuff, they couldn't clean everything thoroughly. So what was left was the drapes, the cushion cover, and the 2 different foot of shoes that were tested, and those came back as blood and also came back as Donna Lee's blood, which kind of tell me that there was a lot of blood splatter in that apartment. Why would they test over 100 items for blood splatter? How does blood go to 100 items in our apartment? How would my blood reach 100 items in my room or in my house? Something was happening that caused blood to be flashing around in there. And they did a cleaning that seemed to be a thorough cleaning, but they missed a couple of things that the forensic analyst, caught. Remember when I asked y'all, shoes, you have 2 foot of shoes. So how come, and we usually store our 2 foot of shoes together, right? So why would 1 foot have blood and the next foot don't have none? And that's 2 different pairs of shoes, the Crocs slippers, and I think they said a pair of Adidas sneakers or something like that. So how did blood get on 2 different foot of shoes, but only 1 foot of each of those shoes? I think because blood did dip on 2 foot of shoes, but they thought they cleaned everything and missed 1 foot of each one of those shoes. And that's some of the stuff that's coming back to haunt him now. Now there's a loophole here, because you tested 100 items, but only the drapes, the cushion cover, and the shoes came back tested positive. They can't deny that that's Donna Lee's blood. What was Donna Lee doing bleeding in your apartment so much? She just left her mom, and she was fine. She didn't have a scratch on her when she leave our mother a couple of hours ago. So how did she just come over here and just bleed everywhere like that? That it was found there, and in the next room over there, and in the next place over here. They're going to have to explain that in the courts. They're going to have to explain that in the courts. I look forward to seeing what the explanation from his defense team is going to be. Me love them kind of case here, bigger than just, I want justice for Donna Lee, but I love to see lawyers argue their case, and I love to see them come up with ways to get away then, if so to speak. Five legal minds together could possibly come up with something. So let's see what it is they're going to come up with next, right? Charla, I see you. Reach out to me. Big up to everybody else in here tuning in. We're going to end it right here because I have to go. We'll be on tomorrow morning not earlier. I have to drop the kids to school. But yeah. We should be on tomorrow morning for a bit longer than we are today. All right. And we look forward to that. And whatever we cut short on today or yesterday, we'll add it to tomorrow and we'll catch up on what we have been cutting short on. Shout out to everybody tuning in. I know Monday, let's end it like this. I know Monday I was supposed to announce who's chosen to go to Jamaica. So, again, Mervin, we not choose nobody, friend. We haven't chosen anybody. I said it on Monday that I was disappointed. I gave people a deadline, but my people's communication skills are sad. Like, the communication skills, man, all you had to do was just tell me, like, how long you haven't been to Jamaica and, you know, just one little shot, something, and nobody has been up to it. Somebody last night said, it's a guy and he has his wife and he would like for him and his wife. I don't know if you're here. He would like for him and his wife to go, but SouFlo, it's been a while since we got to Jamaica. We want to go. I'm probably talking about you and you're watching me. However, I realize that you have to be a member of your channel. So how do I get membership again? This is like a few hours before I announce who is supposed to go. You know? Jerome says it's something I said or do while you're closing off the live. Jerome, big up yourself. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you greatly. Oh, and I did turn the phone off earlier and I forgot to turn it back on, but it's a good thing. It allowed me to finish on time and I wasn't trying to answer the phone anyway. So my apologies, but tomorrow morning the phone will be up and we'll be going through our topics slowly and we'll be having a, you know, adapt me as Mervin. But we'll talk more tomorrow morning on this. All right, have a wonderful day. Like my granny Miss Ruby said, be good. If you can't be good, be careful, but it's best to be good. And like my grandfather, Mas Clevey, said, I will see you tomorrow if God spare my life. Knowing that I'm not in control of that, God is. All right, go with God, be good, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning if God spare life right here on Morning